We just kind of didn't want to be like a kind of band where outside people could define you who you were. If you wanted to do something, you should be able to do it. And I remember at that time when we made that record, for example, like bands like Metallica, I remember that they were very frustrated because they were trying to go in different directions and the fans wouldn't let them. And I just remember saying to myself, I would never want to be in a band as a musician where fans can tell me what kind of music I can play and what music I can't. I feel like that's really, really limiting and stupid. So if we felt a need to go in a direction, we would just go without thinking about it.
Antes de assistir essa entrevista exclusiva com Billy Gould, do Faith No More, queria falar para você sobre esse livro aqui, ó. Pequenas Vitórias, a verdadeira história do Faith No More, escrito pelo Adrian Hart. Essa aqui é a primeira e única biografia da banda, escrita em português, lançado no Brasil. O livro traz toda a trajetória do grupo, com depoimentos de quase todos os integrantes, além de fotos raras. Para adquirir esse livro, basta você ir no QR Code, que está na imagem aqui desse vídeo, ou no link na descrição. Para você que é fã de Faith No More, nem preciso dizer que isso aqui é fundamental. Agora, bora para a entrevista. Fala aí, meus amigos e minhas amigas, tudo bem com vocês? Estamos aqui hoje para comemorar os 30 anos desse disco aqui, ó. Vamos falar sobre esse álbum aqui, ó, King for a Day, Full for Lifetime. 30 anos desse disco, nada melhor falar sobre esse disco do que falar com quem tava lá, né? Estamos aqui com Billy Gould, baixista do Faith No More. Thanks for your time, man, and for agreeing to talk about this amazing album. I have to confess that this is my favorite Faith No More album. I don't know why. But King for a Day, Full Lifetime gives me a sense of creative freedom. Maybe because it's the first one without Dean Martin, who was more of traditional heavy metal guy of the band. Was there really that a sense of creative freedom here at King for a Day?
For sure. I mean, I think that's the feeling we had going into it, that, this band has a lot of different people and they all have different kind of things that works for them. Which has always been frustrating. There was a lot of things we did with Angel Dust that Jim didn't like, and I think all of us we felt a little bit restricted, and we went into King for a Day like we could do anything we want now. Like, kind of like the person who didn't like what we were doing was out of the picture, and we could kind of go somewhere where we wanted to go. So there, if you got that feeling from it, that's kind of where we were. That's kind of where our head was at the time.
I often say that Faith No More would probably never have made songs like Of Dance or Just a Man if Jim was still in the band. Am I right?
I don't know for sure, but it's possible. It wouldn't be the way it was. It wouldn't sound the way it did. It would have a different energy for sure.
Tell us about your experience involvement.
Well, I mean, he goes way back with Mike, a long way, and we knew him, but we didn't really play with him. We had most of the songs written, I would say, maybe about 90% of it before he joined the group, but they were written kind of like, we worked with a bunch of different guitar players, and nobody was really like, even though there's some great guitar players that we worked with, nobody was really like, I don't know, what could I say? They weren't really like getting the music like in a way that we were getting it. So we decided, to send him some stuff, and he liked it. And the stuff he did right away worked. So, in that way, and he helped us actually. We worked together, and we made some things better with him involved because he's technically a great guitar player. And he helped definitely make it better than it sounded before. He kind of complemented what we were already doing. And that's pretty much it. We recorded. We spent about 3 months to record, and then probably 3 months after that, he was already out of the group.
More is a band with a very diverse sound, and King for a Day for Lifetime reflects that a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe is why the album is so beloved by Faith No More fans?
I don't know, because when it came out, nobody liked it. We liked it. I remember how excited I was when we finished it. Like, this is great, because it's really, in some ways, the opposite of Angel Dust. It's really, really a completely different sonic. It's a lot more focused and a lot more, even though maybe the music is more extreme, the sound and the presentation is more focused. So it really was a complete aesthetic difference. And everything we were missing in Angel Dust, we were trying to get with King for a Day. But when it came out, it was a bomb. It was a disaster. Nobody liked it. Nobody in the label liked it. The fans didn't really understand it. So it's really funny now, 30 years later, you know, when I talk to you and I talk to a lot of other people who say, this is my favorite one. I'm like, I mean, it's great. I wish I would have heard that 30 years ago. But, you know, it's great.
There are a lot of influence from other music universes in King for a Day. There's a jazz on this album. Starry G is example. Do you think this is Faith No More most experimental album?
It's just, you know, I wouldn't say that. Well, maybe. I mean, I think every record we did was experimental. We were trying to do something different than we hadn't done before. It's always like our albums are kind of like we're learning as we're making them, which kind of discovery. And this was the same. It's just we just took a different way to do it. And you know, we just kind of didn't want to be like a kind of band where outside people could define you who you were. If you wanted to do something, you should be able to do it. And I remember at that time when we made that record, for example, like bands like Metallica, I remember that they were very frustrated because they were trying to go in different directions and the fans wouldn't let them. And I just remember saying to myself, I would never want to be in a band as a musician where fans can tell me what kind of music I can play and what music I can't. I feel like that's really, really limiting and stupid. So if we felt a need to go in a direction, we would just go without thinking about it.
This was Faith No More's first album with a different producer.
Yes,
what is like working with Andy Wallace?
I mean, he's a master. He's an amazing engineer. Very different from Matt. And Matt, we grew up together with Matt Wallace. So, you know, he was a kid when we met him and we were kids. And we all learned our craft together at the same time. And he was like an extra member of the band. And it got to a point when after, you know, when Jim left the band, we were kind of realizing we were in a place where we could go in any direction we wanted. And we thought, you know, maybe working with a different set of ears would bring a fresh perspective and kind of give us kind of a new way to go. And Andy just, I mean, we respected his work. He did like the first Slayer album. He was, you know, in the Def Jam days, he was Rick Rubin's engineer for a long time. He did a lot of amazing stuff. He did Sepultura's album, which sounded great. We just thought it would be different and interesting. And he had a different approach. He's a completely different guy. His personality is different. But I think that what he did and with us was a great combination.
In my opinion, King for a Day was decisive in showing that we were not a metal band. Even with aggressive songs like Coco for Caca in the morning.
Yeah.
This album has very different layers, which distance Faith No More from the heavy metal bands of the time. And this was an important break in your path. Do you agree?
I think we just did it because, I mean, with us, the same thing all the time is boring. Maybe because we have ADHD, but we get bored. And, for us to do something that has adrenaline, that gets us excited, we have to go in a direction that's exciting to us. So I think more like we were just trying to find ways to keep ourselves excited and translate that into an album.
For me, this was evident in Faith No More show did in Brazil in 95. I don't know if you remember this show in Rio with Ozzy, where Ozzy fans got angry. You played CRFla. They were shouting Ozzy, Ozzy. I was there.
I remember that.
I was 16.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, funny. I mean, it's funny. We had a lot of really strange situations like that, And funny thing is, we'd already toured Brazil before, and people knew us there, and I was really surprised. But we also, when a crowd really doesn't like us and they're yelling and screaming, there's something about it. We kind of like that too. We kind of enjoy that a little bit.
Yes. I read an interview with you in 95 where you said that this album was the real Faith No More. And I agreed, because the album has some of my favorite Faith No More live songs. Just a Man, King for a Day, The Gentle Love Making Enemies, Evidence, and the set list, the shows always had these songs.
Yeah, that's true, actually. And in the song set, we use more songs off this album than the other ones. It's true. I never thought about that.
Yes, you still hold that opinion?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, live, they're the most fun songs to play. They're very physical, in a very satisfying way. But I never thought about it till you mentioned it right now, honestly. I look at all the albums as the same, just different periods of my life. I mean, this one, was a later Faith No More album. It's still 30 years old. It's still 30 years ago. It's a long time ago.
This album has great bass lines. Here in Brazil, there is a very popular Brazilian rock band called Raimundos. And the bassist, Caniço, who passed away a few years ago, he used it to say that King for a Day was the album of his life.
Crazy.
How does it feel to know that this album influenced the bands all over the world?
I mean, it's great. It's great because, like I said before, when it came out, we didn't think anybody was connecting with it, really. So it's really nice to know now that it got someplace and it connected with people. I think it's great.
You did a show in Chile playing this album in full mode.
Yes, we did. We played the whole album with Trey. Exactly. Yes. I mean, this is like 10 years ago now, maybe more. But we did. It was good. It was very cool. And actually, this album, we had two guitar players because John was playing guitar and Trey. And it actually sounded very good with two guitars. We had never done that before.
And I see a lot of bands doing these tours to celebrate these albums' anniversaries. Do you like that idea?
Fans like that idea. I mean, I think it's cool to do once or twice. Sure. I mean, why not? It's something different than just a regular set. I think it's cool. But, I don't know. Sure. Why not?
Billy, it's it, man. Thank you again for your time and kindness.
Cool,
I hope you enjoyed. And needless to say, Brazilian fans are anxious for a new Faith No More reunion.
I believe it. but I'm not going to talk about that. Right. Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
All right. See you, man.